I'd like to ask everyone to help me pay for a ticket. Now, let's begin. For this episode, I would like to continue the story from the previous episode. I would like to take you to see a scene that happened when Sasuke was in the wooden box. One day, Naruto asked Sakura and Sasuke if they wanted to see the face of Kakashi when he grew up. At that time, Sakura also wanted to see it, but at first, Sasuke did not want to join. But later, when Naruto heard the rumor with Sakura that Kakashi might have a Japanese face, disappear, that Lukruck Kakesai reached Enami and arrived at the Kasetagarba monastery. At that time, no one was there. Only a few people, Lukruck Kakesai arrived at Enami from journaling. At that time, the only people who saw Lukruck Kakesai's face were the lay people. After that, Naruto and Sasuke brought Kakashi to the steam room and bathed in hot water. Kakashi was with them at that time, but when he was in the hot water, he was in front of them so that they wouldn't see his face. After that, Naruto and Sasuke went to the train station, but Kakashi was not allowed to see the train, so he went into his room and watched it. And as we all know, it's not easy. Later, Naruto asked Kakashi directly if there was anything special in the back of the room. And then I don't know, but if I do, I'll tell you later. Next, we have. That's all for today. Let's continue our story. In the previous episode, the two Katsukis, Deidara and Satsuri, went on an expedition. They climbed a mountain in order to collect energy from their cave. The tree was not able to get any help from the police. The police then called the police station and the police station of Karkasai and the police station of Gai Sensei to help them. At that time, the police station of Karkasai named Pakun found a body of a young man named Akatsuki Chabkarad. He then called the police station of Karkasai. When he heard that, the police station of Karkasai immediately called the police station of Tenno. At that time, Loyacho also went with them because he wanted to see his grandfather named Sasori. The US has already prepared for the war. But the Baki that are in this group have been called to help protect the country because the situation at the moment is not good. They are afraid that the US will attack them and use this opportunity to make money. At the same time, the Pakkun have been assigned to the Sensei's department and we are also assigned to the defense department. The hardest thing for me is that I have to sit at a table and talk about his past. And back then, I was asked to go to the professor's office to discuss about how to treat the patients. During that time, we asked Itaka to go to the professor's office to discuss about the next step. At the moment, we will see the transition between Kisame and the professor's office first. Initially, Kisame created a lot of water to clear away the disease because the majority of his patients are those that live in the city. Then Kisame went over the Kismet process with the professor's office. At that time, Gai Sensei was able to add his own sword, Kisame's sword. And in order to stay with Gai Sensei's group of 4 people, Kisame used the Sado clone to copy the 4 clones to help each other. At that time, the 3 clones of Kisame were able to capture the 3 children of Gai Sensei in the water. When he saw that, Gai Sensei wanted to use Kisame's big sword to help them. But the sword was a clone, so no one could use it except for Kisame. In the next scene, Gai Sensei has to fight with Kisame one-on-one. At that time, Kisame has defeated Gai Sensei and went into the water. And then he met the 5 sharks and hid behind him. The 5 sharks are strong, but Gai Sensei's normal sword can't do anything to them. At that time, Gai Lotus sword. And got the gate to the 6th dimension to keep it safe. Please note that Hidden Lotus has a total of 8 gates. And if Gai Sensei gets to the 8th dimension, there's nothing to stop him. But after he uses the 8th gate, he will have to escape. Hopefully, Gai Sensei can get through the 6th gate and take care of Kisame. Now, let's go back and see the fight between Itaki and Kakashi. Kakashi's master forbade them to look at Idoka's face, only looking at the bottom of the ice. And at that time, Ryuicho told us that, according to her story, if you want to touch a human with a humanoid face, one must touch it, because it is not fair. But if you touch 2 people, you can still fight. If there is one of the 2 people stuck in genjutsu, another person can come out to save the person who used genjutsu later, or even save the person who is stuck in genjutsu at that time. Naruto said that he wanted to join Itaka's clan because he had a lot of people in his clan. But Kakashi was disappointed because he knew that the way to get Ryuicho could only be used with a normal samurai. He didn't want to use it with a samurai like Itachi. Then, after standing for almost half an hour, Kakashi joined Itachi's clan before him. At that time, Itachi used another Sato clone to recruit Naruto, and he had to get Naruto to fight each other. But for some reason, Naruto was stuck in Itachi's clan for a long time. So now that the pain of the minister Grant and lawyer Shiyu should have caught a pin on top of it. She went back up a plum with them to go way behind a little poka bank. I thought you got to look through Kakashi. I'm black. I hit on me to some of that up just run my calf. We got my body. I'm a little bit. She might have him on shot. Got Jeff back. I mean, it doesn't also get up. Okay, but I'm gonna get up and look one. Yeah. And to keep up with the pace of the Kakashi warriors, Itachi used a flamethrower once again to extinguish the flames and clear the area. At that time, the Kakashi warriors were in a hurry to go through Itachi's area, but Itachi had to stop and capture him in Genjutsu once again. But the plan didn't work out because the Kakashi warriors were two-faced. At the time, Itachi was busy fighting with the Kakashi warriors. Naruto uses his new technique, which is called Giant Raise-Non, to attack Itachi with full force. At that time, they were able to kill Itachi easily. But unfortunately, when it was time to leave, Itachi was turned into a different person. As for Kisame, who was also killed by Guy Sensei, he was turned into a different person as well. However, the two people, Itachi and Kisame, used a special technique and took about 30% of their power to work. Yeah. The goal of the game is to stop Guy Sensei and Kakashi from reaching the top of the mountain. In the first part, Akatsuki has extracted the power of the Sukaku beast from Gaara's body. Not long after, Guy Sensei and Kakashi reach the top of the mountain. There is a big wall that blocks the entrance, and there is a big leaf on top of the wall. Then the lawyer and the client were told that the car is a 5-sealed car with all 5 parts on the body to prevent them from getting the car broken. So if they wanted to steal the car and get in the car, they had to take all 5 parts of the car out in one go. They couldn't wait any longer, so Natty used her psychic powers to find the other car's keys, and the law enforcement officers that were with the 4 of them gave each of them the keys and took them out one by one. Then Sakura used her powers to steal the car. No luck. Kale seh ban te tet kral pe put ko ba on boyawan no chahawi srat te lijine mn omane tet dimin ruk rin doi put ko bi bat ma bojad ko mano ten no umbrem tamin ruk rin doi put ko pano te wichi kum ko doi neat di nei kuchi withi win agae ka pba ton te roba kramaketski tala te muakram roba look rup kagasi ven pe put ko atatak nung rung nam. We saw these two skis, Deidre and Sasori. Kara is over there, but we don't know where she is. Then, Dendera sat on Gaara and told Naruto that Gaara was dead. Naruto was angry, but in his heart, he didn't believe that Gaara was dead. Then, Naruto picked up a big flower and gave it to them. But Sasori used the flower to make a joke. And talked to Dendera, pretending that Naruto wasn't there. Then, Dendera used a stone to pick up a snake, and made Gaara come out and make a joke. So, Naruto followed Dora's advice. Kakashi, fearing that Naruto has a strong opponent like Gaara, asked Luigio and Sakura to stay with Sasori for now until the sensei's group returns. Meanwhile, he has to go with Naruto, following Dora's advice. Now, let's take a look at the battle between Sakura, Luigio, and Sasori. At first, Luigio used his sword to attack Sasori, but he only did it because of Sasori's weakness, but he didn't do anything to him. Sasori used his sword to attack Sasori. Satsuri looked behind and saw a figure like an old man. And Luchio told Sakura that the figure of the man was not his real grandfather. The man was a shinobi named Hanako that Satsuri captured and turned him into a monk. Then Satsuri gathered a large number of people to attack Sakura and Luchio. But none of them died because at that time, Sakura and Luchio could not think of anything. And Sakura joined the Satsuri faction and did not use her sword at all. In the beginning, Sasori wanted to use his right hand to attack Sakura, but he couldn't do it because Logechu allowed him to use his left hand to attack Sasori's right hand. However, Logechu used his left hand to attack Sasori's right hand when he used his right hand to attack Sasori earlier. And in a good situation, Sakura used his left hand to use his strength to attack Sasori's right hand. Then, Satsuri showed his face and made a loud voice. Because after more than 20 years, his father was still young and didn't speak a word. And at that time, he regretted it because he knew that his father was smarter than humans. Then, Satsuri came out, and another stronger than him came out. Third cage that has been around for more than 10 years. And at that time, Satsuri said that the way he created humans to become spirits was according to Orochimaru's theory. At that time, Sakuraba wanted to ask Satsuri about Orochimaru. But Satsuri didn't have time to play with him. He just had to stop this and get rid of it as soon as possible and go out to help Deidara to catch Naruto. The next step that Satsuri used was to use his third cage spirit to summon Sakuraba. The reason why Satsuri is so obsessed with Sakura is because he thinks that Sakura is a young woman who has a lot of problems and can't control her body. In fact, it's not like that, but at this time, Sakura's potential must be considered as the most important thing in the world. But anyway, Satsuri has a lot of friends. After using it, he became obsessed, and in the next episode, he made another Sakura, but it didn't work out. No Ichigo met two people who Satsuri regarded as his ancestors. These two people are Satsuri's ancestors since he was young. Satsuri's ancestors have been written in the script since Satsuri was young. And because he remembered his parents, he created these two people to remember him. The next thing is the universe and the universe. But until now, the universe and the universe are not the same. But then, Satsuri has discovered another great weapon of the third generation of Seekage. It's called Iron Sands. This is the reason why Satsuri brought humans to be the universe. Because the universe that was made from humans is in the universe of their ancestors. At that time, Satsuri used Iron Sands to make a bomb to destroy the Joe and Sakura. At that time, not only did Joe use the power of the seal to protect them, but a little bit of iron sand has penetrated into the core of his body and made it all stiff. Even the blade of the Logiacho, which is the same blade, is broken. At this time, Logiacho only had one left hand and could not use his body anymore. But Sakura continued to fight because as a human, a little bit of iron sand could not do the same thing as the body. At that time, Logiacho used the left hand of Sakura, while Sakura used this power to keep up with Sasori. Sakura. As for the story, he knows that Sakura can now think of Sasori's weaknesses. He doesn't have to help him with the power of Sakura. When he saw Sakura's power, Sasori used his iron sand to create a shape like a flower bud and spread it out on the ground. The spread on the ground requires a little bit of power, but it can do a lot of things. Because all of Sasori's power is in his body. At that time, Sasori used his power too. The priest then used fire, water, and fire power to attack Shio and Sakura from a distance. He then used his sword to stab Sakura a little, and then he went to attack Shio. At that time, because of the sword that struck Sakura, Sakura was able to pull the priest closer and hit him on the forehead. Then, when they thought that everything had been decided, they heard a loud noise, which was the sound of the priest coming back. At that time, Lord Yacho used his power to pull his sword out of the ground. Then, he used a spell to create a group of 10 people to help him. When he saw that the sorceress couldn't get rid of him, he took 2 of them and used a spell to create a group of 100 people to help him as well. The advantage of the time when the sorceress was still alive was that the sorceress could use a special weapon that Lord Yacho gave to Nyan to catch the sorceress and his power so that he couldn't use anything else. However, at that time, the sorceress still had a friend who took his sword and put it in a new box. However, at that when Lo Yecho wasn't interested, he went after Lo Yecho, but Sakura was too scared to go near him. Even though Sakura was able to use her jutsu card, the spirit in her body was able to keep up with Satsuri's power. That's why Lo Yecho was able to keep the spirit in her body. Then, Satsuri couldn't take it anymore, so she took another child and went after Sakura. And in order to protect Sakura, Loichu used Sasori's mother's form to summon Sasori's Abedo for him to use. Then Loichu used a special jutsu called Reanimation Ninjutsu to save Sakura's life. At that time, Sasori had not yet passed away, and before he passed away, Sasori told Sakura that he has a friend, a person who was created to work with Orochimaru. And one day, he has to meet that person in Spiral Township, in the greenhouse. And when he talked about this, Sasori was shocked. The time of the reunion might be faster if the Guy Sensei's group could help us. But unfortunately, the Guy Sensei's group is currently stuck with their copy. It's not easy to beat your own clone. But beware, the copy clone can't be stronger than the real clone. It takes a little bit of time, but eventually, they can get rid of all of their copies. Let's take a look at Naruto and Kakashi. Now, they have acquired the land, and Kakashi uses his Mangekyou Sernon to create a hole to dig into the land. By digging there, Kakashi was able to seal the land on the other side, and force them to go underground as well. At that time, Naruto didn't allow the land to be destroyed. He had to put them in a different place. The last time I saw Naruto was when he was in Sasuke's world, but he only had one tail. At that time, the tail of the dragon had grown into two. At that time, Kakashi's teacher was afraid of having a bad luck, so he took him to Naruto's world to get his interest back. Kakashi's teacher was afraid of having a bad luck, so he took him to Naruto's world to get his interest back. As for Deidara, who was just watching from a distance, he thought that he was going to die, so he wanted to save him, but he ended up with the sensei. At that time, Deidara had already saved 4 people, but he couldn't catch them anymore. Later, Deidara found out about his true identity, and he tried to protect his true identity. At that time, Niji found out that Deidara wanted to commit suicide, and he told them to get out of there. The door was locked. We couldn't go out in time. In order to protect us, Mr. Kakesai used the Mangekyou to take his documents. Then he went through the door. When Mr. Kakesai used the Mangekyou to take his documents, he had to be careful. So the moment they saw him, they had to hand over their documents. Team Fortress 3 has ended, and we've met each other again in the land of slums. And their slum has made them all hate each other, especially Naruto. There's no one in this world who likes Naruto more than Naruto, because they're all the same. Please note that Jinchuriki is a person who has a special power within the clan from level 1 to level 9. Next, Joe goes to Kara's body and puts her hand on his chest. But Sakura knows that Joe is using ninjutsu reanimation to help Kara's life. Finally, Joe can make Kara come back to life because she took her life to exchange. Everyone for watching this video with me. If you think this video is good, please comment below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel to support me.